Attention all cadets, this is Dr. Joseph Jones, your Command Center liaison speaking to you from Mission Control, none other than the North Louisiana Crime Lab here in scenic Shreveport. We run a very tight ship here, analyzing substances from earthlings who made questionable decisions. So what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and buckle up, because today we're going to be charting a course through the galaxy of impaired driving. And trust me, some of y'all, you've already entered the asteroid field. And so today, we are going to be blasting off into a mission called If You Feel Spacey, You Drive Spacey. This is a mission that might just in fact save lives. There are no spacesuits that are required on this. In fact, this is a journey about staying safe right here on Earth. And what we're talking about is impaired driving. How feeling spacey can make you feel, well, spacey. Let's launch into the science, and I'll tell you the solutions. Before we launch any mission, there's always going to be a pre-launch check. NASA, SpaceX, even Elon himself, they would never allow anyone, if they were impaired, to be an astronaut in one of their space shuttles. But here on Earth, people launch onto our highways and roadways every single day, and some of them are under the influence, or impaired, as I like to say. Impaired driving doesn't just threaten their trip. In fact, it endangers the lives of many. There are stakes that are as high here on Earth just as there are in any space mission. Let's decode impaired driving. Alcohol slows your brain. It slows its reflexes, its processing ability. And certain drugs, illegal drugs, or even some of those that are prescribed, can drastically impact your coordination and your attention. Fatigue is another silent enemy. It mimics alcohol's effects. And don't overlook your mental state. Strong emotions, distractions that you have, these things can cloud your judgment too. And so impairment, even though it's my specialty in looking at substances, it isn't always just about substances. It's anything that can disconnect you from always being in full control. Astronauts spend years of training, sometimes even decades, and they do that because space does not have any tolerance for a single mistake. On the roadways, we should treat driving with the exact same amount of respect. Your brain is your mission control. It coordinates every single decision. It coordinates every movement that you have. And whenever you're impaired, that system malfunctions. One small, tiny, maybe even minuscule error can spiral into catastrophic events, just like whenever you're in orbit. Here's how impairment hits three of the big stages of driving: perception, processing, and reaction. Alcohol blurs your vision. It narrows your field of view. Your brain processes information more slowly, meaning that it takes longer for you to understand what's actually happening and then react appropriately to it. And that leads us to the big one, reaction. Because of the alcohol you've consumed, your body cannot respond quickly. Not on the roadway, not in space. Milliseconds matter anywhere you are. You see, smart astronauts, they never launch without a plan. Likely, whenever you drive, you shouldn't launch without a plan to return home safely. Decide before you drink, how am I going to get home? Assign a sober driver. Make that person your designated driver. Or rely on ride shares, taxis, public transit. A safe return is always the most important part of any mission. And so how do you know if you're too impaired to drive? Well, the first thing, I wouldn't recommend ever using drugs unless they were prescribed and you're under the treatment of a medical professional. But if you do, how do you know if you're too impaired? Well, if you're feeling lightheaded, if you feel dizzy, if your vision is blurred, well, that's a red flag. If your speech is slurred or you hesitate whenever you're deciding to even think maybe I shouldn't drive, those are signs that you're not on a mission and you're not mission ready. When there's any doubt, the answer is always no, I will not drive. And so for us, when we look at this, mission success will always start with three commitments. The first, you need to stay focused. Be fully present whenever you're driving. The second, stay sharp. Don't ever drive under the influence of anything, not any impairing substance. And finally, stay safe. Every decision that you make, it affects people other than just you. You see, you have to be the mission commander in your own life and your own future endeavors because your journey, the real journey, is just beginning. Great work. So here's our debrief. Impaired driving, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or a combination of both, it puts everyone at risk. When you mix, you multiply the danger. But you alone, you hold the power to make smart choices. For you, be the mission commander in your own future endeavors. Stay focused, stay sharp, and stay safe. Your journey is just beginning.